Hey, everyone. Welcome to Fox 10 Talks Wednesday afternoon. Brian Webb, Marc Martinez joining us on first time on this show, right?
First time on this show.
Yeah, that's exciting.
My third time on Fox 10 Talks this week, though. We're getting some reps in.
Once they've got you, they don't let you go,
It's
man.
true. Yeah.
You're just going to be planted in that chair. The great Nicole Krasean is joining us again. Going to talk about Globe as she does so well. You might as well, have a frequent flyer miles.
Yeah,
there,
I think maybe I'm going to start looking at some land up there.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
in the area.
They know you well.
Yeah.
We don't want to forget Michael Obie steering the ship, watching for icebergs along the way. Join us on YouTube if you can. We'd love to hear from you. Should we start with just the storms and the aftermath?
Yeah, and talking about Globe. I mean, they've been hit like so often, it's like they can't catch a break out there. It's amazing.
Last night, we were at the city council meeting, and the police chief, Dale Walters, made the point that really stuck out to me. They have had, he said, 4 huge flooding instances in less than 3 weeks, like 4. And he said they were each like historic in their own way. The first one, of course, was the worst, but it's just all of this piling up. City leaders last night talking a lot about what they'd accomplished so far and talking about, what needs to be done next, because, of course, it's a long conversation ahead. I think we have some sound from some of the city officials talking last night just about the next steps, too.
When we met with some representatives for DEMA, they were like really astounded that the rocks that are set in place have been there as long as they have without issue. So that's the whole redesign.
Talking about some of the discussions that are going to have to happen now about some of the infrastructure out there. We've been talking about the water issues that they've had. Several water lines have broken over the past few days. So just that's who you just heard is the Public Works Director talking. So he's, of course, got a lot of knowledge on that, Angelo. And it's going to be a long road to recovery. But
are they going to get help, like state, federal?
Yeah, so the SBA was there last night. They have a loan program that they are offering people, but as he said, which I thought was cool that he was very upfront about it, he said, I understand that's not the sexiest thing to think about. Those were his words when you think about loans. Yeah, and he's like, but then they also have this United Fund that they've started. Resolution Copper in the area donated $1 million. So that is going to go right back to the residents.
And you wonder, with the government shutdown, is that going to affect how quickly people can get help? Did they talk about any of that?
Yeah, they haven't really hit on the shutdown in any of these conversations, but I think in their minds, it's a long enough process already. Like, there's so much paperwork that has to happen, and there's so many, hoops that sometimes they have to, jump through, that I think to some extent they're thinking maybe the shutdown won't last as long as the normal process would to begin with. So, it might not be a factor quite yet. But I think the big thing is just getting that initial funding, that initial relief for people. And that's going to come from this United Fund, luckily, that they have. People can start to go and apply for things there. And that's going to go. They really want people, if people are watching from other parts of the state, to donate to that fund of anything, because they said that is going to stay right there in the community.
Yeah. Is there any sense that you've gotten on your many trips up there that any human factor went wrong here, or was it all Mother Nature? And I'm thinking in particular of propane tanks.
Yeah.
Do they address that? Do they feel like this is just like a century type storm, so to speak? Or were there some human elements that made things worse?
So I think it's really early for anyone to say exactly what human related or infrastructure related could have been an issue here, because of just how, they just kept getting hit. They got hit really hard that day, and then it was like they started cleaning up, then they got hit again. But I have heard people comment about some of the bridges in the area needing to be, looked at or updated, perhaps. Now that the water issues are coming about, we heard straight from Mayor Al Gameros yesterday on Fox 10 Talks saying that it's an infrastructure thing, and that's what's the issue with the water lines breaking. So I think it might just be a situation where, unfortunately, this is an area of the state that might have gotten overlooked at times when the, state and federal government were thinking about different things. That's the sense I've gotten from some of the city and county leaders, is that a lot of the things that we need to be asking for come from above us, and they really need to take that step to bridge that gap.
And you think about the history of Globe and Miami and that Superior area built in, as mining towns. So a lot of the infrastructure, obviously, it's old.
Oh, yes.
And then you've got the confluence of all the water rushing down into these areas. Kinsey Beach was out there yesterday, and that rushing water that we saw, she got that video, and she said, or I think she was there Monday, rather.
Yeah.
And she said that when they got there, they could see pebbles at the bottom of that creek. It was that shallow. And within 10 minutes, she said it was just rushing full of water. And they told her, they need a photographer, you guys got to
get out of there.
Yeah. And I think it does that in the opposite direction as well. Like yesterday when we were there, the creek's really low, So I think that kind of takes it out of people's minds maybe a little bit when you come back and it's just so quick both directions. And then you go back a couple of days later and the creek is low again. But it's just so... just the deluge of water that they got is just incredible.
And for anyone who's had to deal with, flooding, damage to a home, mud, water, all that kind of stuff, it takes so long to clean that up. You've got to get rid of the drywall. You've got to get into all of the insulation of the house. I mean, it's long, it's expensive.
I'm sure you saw those homes along that Jesse
Hayes Road. Yeah.
You take 1 foot in there and you're like, there's no way. There's just no way.
And there was mud on the carpet of the house you went into. I saw that.
Yeah.
Up the walls. I mean, it was just a few of the homes look like they're going to be saved. Maybe 4 or 5 or not. There's no way.
I think last night they were talking about they've done over 200 rapid assessments between residences and businesses, and they have these placards that they're putting up now. Green, if you can continue to have. There's some businesses who luckily have been able to get a green placard and are going to be able to reopen quickly. Yellow, stand by, and then there are those buildings and those homes that have gotten red that he said, we're doing more thorough inspections now and assessments, but he said that there are going to probably be some buildings that have to come down, which is really sad in a historic town and a place where you go out and you meet those people. They're amazing people, and so many of them have been there for so long.
That's what I was going to ask, because I haven't gone out there. You guys have both been out there, right? What's the attitude and the mood from the people that live there? Are they kind of sick of the attention, or are they glad that people are shining a spotlight on it, or what's the attitude? I mean, because it's been going on now for weeks and weeks.
I have never heard anyone say anything other than thank you so much for continuing to come and pay attention to us. I think going back to a point I made earlier, I think sometimes they're a beautiful little mountain town in Gila County, but I think that they think sometimes that things can get overlooked or they could be forgotten. They don't want to be forgotten, and so I think that they're appreciative of continuing to hear stories about each other, and so that's been good. But I do think that there is some frustration as well about what are we going to do to really make sure that we build back? What do you think?
Yeah, well, I was going to say it got a little tricky there for a while in between storms because we wanted to go out there and give them attention, but it was a bright, sunny day.
Right.
And we're like, okay, how do you do that? So really, we ended up going back to the same homeowners, and they were super sweet. Let us see what their upgrades were on the house to try to get things back to normal. A lot of people were, along that road were... a few people were cleaning up. A few people kind of realized they needed to give up and move on.
Yeah.
And that whole process, I'm interested in, like, when the government goes in and says you can't live in this house anymore, what happens next?
Right.
Is there anything you get out of that? I mean, you still own the property it's on, I guess.
But you were talking to that family that had lived in that house for 70 years or something. That house had been in their family. And to just tear that down and start from scratch where the problem already is. Yeah. And they had built that wall behind their house to protect themselves.
70 years.
Unless you spend an exorbitant amount of money, if the government doesn't build that for you, what are you going to do? You don't want to build it right back and then hope that never happens again.
Which I think goes back to your point. A lot of these big issue things, the government's the only one that can afford to do bridges and do
culverts,
huge culvert infrastructure type things. And when you get down to houses, who can afford? I mean, who can afford to write a check for a new house that just got wiped away in a flood. So I feel for them, and I hope things get straightened out. But I imagine we'll need to keep going out there for a long time.
Absolutely. I think it's at a point where, in my opinion, there's two things happening. We need to kind of make sure that we're giving the city leaders and the county leaders some time now that it seems like the weather has, knock on wood, cleared up for good, that they can start to bring this funding out and disperse it. But we also, need to go back and continue to talk to these people about what they are or aren't getting and verify if, the funding is staying where it needs to be. Just, keeping tabs on all of that for those people. But I also think that it's just important to promote them rebuilding as well.
Mm-hmm. I just thought of a story idea that one of us should probably do. Yeah. Remember a couple of years ago, Mark, when was it Gila Bend got hit really hard? This century flood just knocked. It reminds me of Globe, and I wonder if going back out there and seeing how all that worked and where they're at now, because I think that's been a couple of years.
It's been a few years, and it was sort of the similar kind of situation. A smaller community, and a lot of devastation, and then the question is what do we do? How quickly can we get help?
Right.
Let's face it, if your family is from there, you don't want to just uproot yourself and move to Phoenix, or, you like being there and you want to stay, I would assume.
Yeah.
And so,
oh, for sure.
But, the question of short term and even long term, how do you do it? So that'd be a good follow up to see how they recovered.
And also, you wonder these days, if you're in Arizona, do you want to be anywhere near a wash, dry or not? I mean,
it's tricky.
These storms like this don't come around every day. That's the good news. 70 years that retaining wall held up on that road. But, then when it goes, I just could not believe, I'm sure you guys are the same. When I looked at the radar back on the weekend, I'm like, are you kidding me? It's going right back to Globe.
Yeah, I know.
And, and what we had, for people who are maybe not super familiar with our climate here in Arizona, we had the monsoon storms. But this last one was not a monsoon. This was tropical moisture from the remnants of Priscilla and forget the name of the other one.
Raymond?
Raymond, I
Maybe?
think.
So,
yeah, something like that.
I think I'm going to go with you. But you have that was the problem. With that, and it's just, it gets to that time of year where we're toward the end of the monsoon. And then you could still get all that tropical moisture moving in. And it's a worst case scenario, really.
Yeah.
And you're going to do more of a feature type story tonight? What's that about?
We're talking about the resilience of communities that we have in Arizona. We know that's true. There are a lot of heroic stories that have come out of this. We talked about the teenager Tim Melma, who saved his family by punching through a window. Yeah. I had the joy of talking to the surgeon at PCH who was able to save his arm yesterday. So we're going to hear from him tonight. So it's a happy Globe story about how resilient these people are.
All right, Nicole, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how about that? Hey, do we have a real Hollywood star coming in?
We do. Miguel Mora is joining us. Whoa. Black Phone and Black Phone 2 coming up.
Fox 10 Talks?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. We're moving up in the world.
All right, welcome back to Fox 10 Talks. We have a Hollywood star here with us, Miguel Mora, who is in the new movie Black Phone 2. You were also in Black Phone, the first one, which was great. And you're a Valley native. You were born here in Phoenix.
Yeah, born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona.
So that must be thrilling. Not only were you in a great movie the first time around, it was good enough to do number 2.
Oh yeah, number 2 is a pretty intense sequel. The genre here is horror, and the first one alone was already a pretty unique thriller horror film. And this second one, I was kind of just confused on how they were going to even approach the sequel, and the story that they wrote was mind-blowing.
I was kind of confused as to how you were going to come back as Robin in the first one, you know. Yeah. I don't know how much we want to give away.
Yeah, we can't give away too much. Right?
Yeah, no, we could talk about the new character, yeah.
So tell us, so you're not Robin in this one.
No, exactly. I was also really lost on how I was going to come back to be a part of this sequel, because the director had told me, hey, you're going to come back. And he just never told me how. Like, for a year and a half later, I was trying to process, like, what did he mean by that? And then he told me, you're going to portray Robin's little brother. So now the Black Phone that came out in 2022 was a middle school coming-of-age film, and now Black Phone 2 is a high school coming-of-age film. So the whole cast, we are 3 years older now. We look a little different, you know, and got a little older. So I guess you have that that flexibility to play a different character that is now the younger brother, but it's set.
They must have really wanted you back.
I was going to say, they must have really liked you to bring you back.
Yeah, that's a huge compliment. I mean, really, I think it's such a great opportunity as an actor to... Coming back to a sequel is always a really big opportunity, but coming back to a sequel to portray a new character is something unique. You don't really hear that often. So I mean, I just couldn't be more fortunate and grateful to be a part of something like that.
So Black Phone 2 comes out on Friday, but there was a premiere yesterday, right? Last night.
Yeah, there was an early screening in Tempe, Arizona, and I got to introduce that.
Like red carpet and everything?
No, not the whole red carpet. It was more like a it was more of just a private screening, and they gave me that opportunity.
I thought by now pretty much wherever he goes, there's probably a red carpet around.
We forgot that for you, Miguel. Sorry about that.
Should we talk a little bit about what this is?
Do you want to show him the premiere or at the screening last night? Not the premiere, the screening.
Good idea.
You surprised people there, right?
Yeah, it was a completely unexpected surprise that I was going to show up.
Our producer Dave was there, and I think we have some video to show of you surprising people. So let's take a look at that.
Please welcome Miguel Mora!
What's up, Arizona? Man, I gotta tell you guys that it feels good standing up here and looking at this crowd. This is something pretty special for myself. I'm born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, so 10 feet. Thank you for coming out and showing up. Yeah, I mean, this is a wild ride, guys. It's an emotional film. It's a lot darker than the first one. It's pretty intense. So you guys are in for a good one, and I mean, I just can't wait for you guys to see this film and see Ernesto Arellano now. The first one I played Robin, that badass fighter kid that got into fights. But now you guys will meet Ernesto Arellano, and I just hope you guys enjoy this film and have a lot of fun with this. So thank you.
Good stuff there. Hey, you're getting some shout-outs online, by the way. People wishing you all the best.
We're getting a lot of action here over that chat room because of Miguel.
All of a sudden. What's it like to have fans, people who really like seeing you in person? That's got to be kind of strange.
Oh, man, it's still all very new, I mean, I'm very grateful for that, for all that support and all that love that people have shown me. This is only my second project, so just to see that reaction, I mean, it's truly something I just couldn't be more grateful for. I mean, it's a big thing for myself, and I mean, I'm really happy to see that there's a really big, passionate fandom behind this film as well.
We're talking about fans too. You've got 3.7 million followers on TikTok and 1.8 million on Instagram. How did that happen?
Yeah, how do you do that?
That was from Black Phone. I mean, the character of Robin, I'd never expected for my character to have that impact. I mean, I only came out on the first film for 5 minutes, and yeah, that was never something we expected. And I mean, that just kind of happened from 3 months after the film came out. You know, the social media is such a powerful tool, and you know, I just kind of posted. I was being myself, you know, posting typical stuff, the hobbies that I do. I like to box. I would share content like that. I play electric guitar, and it just seemed like that content was just catching more and more views.
You look down at your phone one day and you're like, hey, I got a million new viewers overnight.
It was exactly that. Like, whoa, I never expected any of this to happen.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you tell us a little bit about the plot here for people who haven't seen it, just a little bit?
Absolutely. For Black Phone.
Let's do 2.
2.
Okay.
Okay.
Black Phone 2. So this movie, I would say really one of the biggest themes around this film is vengeance. The grabber, who is portrayed by Ethan Hawke, he's back now as an evil spirit seeking vengeance and trying to harm Finn and appearing in dreams, almost this Freddy Krueger-like appearance. But it's exactly that, and also, I mean, I think there's it's so dark and such an emotional film as well. But overall, I mean, that's kind of, I don't want to spoil anything too much for the people who haven't seen it yet, but that's really it. I mean, this is, he's back as a ghost. He was scary enough as a human.
He was really scary in that first one, and you were like a tough guy in the first one, so it's nice to meet you in person, because Robin was
he boxes,
badass.
Man, watch out, don't cross it.
No, exactly that. I mean, the whole experience was pretty thrilling.
Does it take anything out of you to play like in these dark movies, like emotional toll, perhaps?
You know, that's a great question. For this sequel, I will say that, I mean, coming back to portray Ernesto, my character, he lost his brother, you know, Robin. So, I mean, yeah, I guess you kind of, as an actor, have to put yourself in that mindset. And, you know, I had to convince myself that I lost a brother. And, you know, you go through these emotional scenes. So, for sure.
I don't know about this one. The first one, though, Madeline, the actress in that, she had some really funny lines, like some laugh-out-loud lines in Black Phone, where you're, like, not expecting it. Because it's a scary movie, and you're like, oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah. Those are the best. Scary movies, they throw in a little joke every now and then.
That's all over Black Phone and Black Phone, too, for
good.
sure.
It's got a little comic
tension to release.
Oh, yeah, it's a roller coaster. I mean, you have your comedic moments, you have your romantic moments, you have your suspenseful and emotional moments for sure.
Can I ask you about how you get into the role? I mean, you read the script and then you have to spend some time putting yourself in those shoes. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, I got the script for the film almost months before we started shooting. So I had enough time to really break down my character, and I think your job as an actor is to build this perspective around the character that you're gonna play, and build this whole world that's more personal to yourself. And I mean, I had a lot of fun exploring all of that. It was really cool, and you know, I just created so many different perspectives. Robin was that cool guy, badass kid in school, and now we have Ernesto. He was this preppy honor student. So there's a big contrast between both characters, and I think you just, you know, that's that privilege of an actor, that you get to play make-believe and create this whole new perspective that's unique to yourself, you know.
And showing your range, you know, that you can do these different roles.
Exactly, and I'm really happy to be a part of the sequel and have that opportunity. You know, coming back is a big deal, but coming back to do something totally new and unexpected, that's really cool. Special.
And you said you started when you were about 10 years old acting? Or, like, what were you doing? Like, theater, or would you...
I really just told my mom I wanted to be an actor.
And Mom and Dad are here. They must be really proud.
And, you know, Mom was kind of like, really? Okay. And, you know, she didn't really take it that serious. And I brought it up again and then again and again. And that's when she realized, like, oh, wow, my son really wants to be an actor.
Yeah, right. Because 10-year-olds are notorious for astronaut, firefighter.
Exactly. But I just kept bringing it up multiple times. And, you know, it kind of got to the point where she just... she found this like local acting workshop here in Arizona, and then next thing you know, now we're doing another workshop in LA, and then I performed this like this scene in front of an audience of like managers and stuff, and I just kind of went from there. There was agents and managers who were interested in working with us, and we signed with an agency when I was 10, and
So definitely when you win the Oscar, it's a thanks to mom and dad for sure.
Absolutely.
On stage in front of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And you were going to ASU, right?
Yes. I graduated high school early, and I started my college career a bit early as well.
How are you going to do both? How can you do both?
Well, the funny thing, I had to take a pause this semester at ASU because balancing the press that I had for this film and some other projects coming up later down this fall, it was going to be really difficult to, be full-time at ASU.
And stopping to take selfies with everyone on campus.
No kidding, right? And cash in those checks.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, that's great for you. And so can you give us a hint on, do you know what's coming next?
Yeah, there's some projects that I can't really talk about too much, but there's some things that will be out there pretty soon that I'm excited to share with everybody.
Hollywood, real quick, Hollywood's an intimidating place, I would think. Do you find that so, or you just go in there and just like, I got nothing to lose? And I mean, how do you tackle something as big as Hollywood?
That's a great question. You're right. Hollywood it can be a very intimidating thing. But I think the most important perspective going into something like that is you got to believe in yourself, and you got to walk into that room with confidence. And that's how I've been raised. And that's just how, the corner I have on my team is exactly that. And, there's nothing that really intimidates me in this industry. So whatever it is, put your mind to it. And
watch out, world, man.
Great advice.
Yeah,
I wish I would have learned that when I was
right?
his age.
I know. Good stuff. Well, congratulations about all your success.
Go see Black Phone 2.
Coming out
Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
And we're going to watch you in the future, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Miguel, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take a quick break. We'll be right back. Good stuff. All right, welcome back to Fox 10 Talks. I'm Brian Webb with Marc Martinez. We've had an interesting show already.
It's been great.
Great guests, a Hollywood star, our own star, Nicole Krasean.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We're going to pivot to the Boy Scouts, Scouting of America, and somehow it's crossing paths with AI like I guess eventually all humans will do.
Right, yeah. There's going to be a badge now in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, which, I mean, talk about getting them ready for the future, right?
Getting out in front of it.
Learning about this early on.
Smart move.
Yeah.
All right,
the earlier the better.
Let's go to Roger Krone, Chief Scout Executive of Scouting America. Roger, thanks for your time today, sir.
Hey, great. Hey, good, Brian and Mark. It's great to be here and talk a little bit about technology.
How did this all come together, Roger?
Well, we're over 100-year old organization, and our goals really are to prepare youth for life. Right. And of course, we're well known for the outdoors and camping and high adventure and things like that. Well, what we've learned is the kids today take their technology with them. Right. So the kids, they bring a cell phone, a small screen device. And we think it's important not only to prepare these kids for life in the physical world, but also to make sure they're prepared for life, if you will, in the virtual world. And so we've been introducing more and more advancement opportunities, merit badges in this case, around those things that they're coming in contact with every day. We have a programming merit badge. We have a digital technology merit badge. And if anything, I think in artificial intelligence and cybersecurity, we might be a little bit late to the party. Because, the kids today, they have access to these powerful tools. And what we can do in scouting is educate them on how to use them in a positive way, and also understand that there's some aspects of this technology which is not all that positive, and give them a guide on how to be safe in the virtual world. We think is part of our mission.
And the deep fakes and things like that are so real now, it's almost hard to tell what is reality and what is not reality. So I think being able to kind of parse that out at a young age might be helpful. What, Roger, are the requirements for a scout to get this AI badge?
Well, on AI badge, we've got kind of three areas. There's a book, which is also, of course, available virtually. There's a downloadable PDF. By the way, all your listeners can go to scouting.org and download the AI Merit Badge book for free. So it's available to the general public at no cost online. But the first is around AI and use in everyday life. So it's a familiarization process. There's some reading they have to do. There's some research they have to do. The second aspect of AI is to learn about how AI actually works. And your viewers may be familiar. AI is essentially a big regression program. So it goes out into the internet and it learns about all the activity, all the history, right, in humankind. And then it sort of predicts what will happen next based upon the past history, right? So it's important to know that, for instance, in AI, there are biases built into AI depending upon the database that it uses to learn. And then the third part of the AI Merit Badge is to really understand some of the ethical and some of the, if you will, darker issues around AI. And if you ask AI some of these really challenging, probing questions, like you have an issue at school or something, you ask AI a question, we want our scouts to understand that the answers that you get back from AI are not necessarily the best source of problem solving, and that there are some ethical issues around AI. And we also talk about use of AI for doing things like homework and using AI as a substitute for sort of the learning and the cognitive decision making that we want our scouts to be able to do.
Sounds like you've thought this through well, Roger. I'm wondering if down the road you might need to help train them to take on the Terminator robots, but we'll get to that later. But it is interesting, though, like you're known as such an outdoor organization, the Slipknots and all that cool stuff. And was there a real tug of war at first to maybe realize, we need to tackle something that's completely different than what our history is about?
I think that tug of war probably happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, when we went from mainframe computers to microcomputers to personal computers. And we're much more of a reflection of what our kids are doing. And as kids have embraced digital technology, as that has moved to smaller and smaller form factors, we've had to evolve to stay relevant. We want to meet kids where they are and on topics that they have an interest in. That doesn't mean we don't have some scouters who are probably more my age who says, hey, if it's not outdoors, not in a tent, it shouldn't be in scouting. But we're responding, frankly, to the demand of our youth. And our youth has said we love camping and canoeing and cooking. But we also have rocketry merit badge. We have, like I said, a programming merit badge. We have a lot of pretty exciting topics. Drones are heavily in several of our merit badge. We have an aviation merit badge, which has a drone section. So to be relevant to kids, we have to stay abreast of the things that are going on in the real world.
And, people are going to have to learn about AI and figure out how it all works, and a lot of people are scared of it. I guess I'm speaking for myself a little bit. It for a lot of us, it sort of seemed to have come out of nowhere, and then it just took off so quickly, and now it's everywhere. It's in every part of our lives, and it's not going away. In fact, it's only going to get more intertwined with our everyday lives. So it does seem like the earlier you can kind of get a handle on it and figure it out, the good and the bad, I guess that's a real benefit. What age are we talking about now for these scouts?
We're about 11 years through 18 years. So we call it our middle school and our high school program. We have a elementary school program that's called Cubs, where we don't really have any AI opportunities. But once we call it crossover into what we call our Scouts BSA program, then you're eligible to start earning merit badges. And by the way, we have learned that that's the age where a lot of kids have access to digital devices. In some families, they have unfettered access to the internet. And so they're interacting with this technology, whether we as parents like it or not. And what better organization to teach them what it's all about and how to use it in a positive way than scouting.
Yeah, good stuff, Roger. It looks like there's no avoiding it for any of us.
No.
Is it already filtering down into the local chapters, and can the young ones start learning about this right away?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, it's online on our website, so it's available to our 1 million or so scouts and our 500,000 volunteers and all of our 235 councils, including the Phoenix area. So we have kids who have already earned a merit badge. We have a couple dozen who have downloaded it and met the requirements and have actually earned the merit badge. So it's really taken off. We expect it to be one of our top 10 merit badges.
Well, Roger, if you come up with a merit badge for a couple of middle-aged guys who need to learn how to use AI,
can you get a merit badge for sitting in front of a microphone and just talking?
Yeah, we could use that.
Well, we have a filmmaking merit badge and we have a broadcasting merit badge. So like I said, we have 140 of these different badges, and we try to cover the waterfront of things that kids are interested in. And by the way, there's a vocational aspect to this, is that they get to learn a little bit more and find out if, maybe they have an interest to do this after graduation and, launch a career in AI, or maybe launch a career in broadcasting.
And I think that's so great to find out early on what your interests are, pursue that, and maybe find out what you don't like even.
And we need some sharp minds in the AI field who know about ethics and morality too.
Absolutely.
So good stuff, Roger. We appreciate your time with us today. Good luck with everything.
All right, great. Nice to see you. Thanks for the time.
Great to meet you.
Yeah, that would have been handy, to learn that kind of stuff when you're that age.
It is just coming fast and furious.
It really is.
I mean,
yeah.
Wow, AI, Boy Scouts and AI. Here we are.
At least they're on top of that. That's for sure.
I know. Hey, Isabella Fredrickson.
I snuck in at the end.
I know.
Hello.
That's right. Come on in.
Hi.
Well, what's up with you?
Here's the part of the stream where I come in and we talk about some fun talkers. Not that Boy Scouts wasn't fun, but here's some fun, interesting stuff. So I figured we would talk about Taco Bell
Yeah.
Back to college and
Okay.
restocking Halloween candy.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Taco
What's
Bell.
going on with
What do you
Taco
wanna
Bell?
talk about
Taco
first?
Bell my fair
Taco
share
Bell?
of times.
Okay. Well, a new study ranking the fastest drive-thrus in the U.S. Taco Bell takes the crown.
number 1.
Taco Bell is number 1.
Wow, look at these top. This is scientific.
Oh, yeah. The study found that the average customer waits only about 4 minutes for their order. The fellow brand KFC came in second.
Okay.
Tim Hortons, Arby's, and Wendy's finished in the top 5. Chick-fil-A, meanwhile, was the slowest, saying customers have to wait over 7 minutes for chicken sandwiches.
But they're so pleasant when you get your
Yes.
order.
That
it
is
kind of
true.
makes up for it.
And you wonder if I don't want to put this the wrong way, but there's always a long line at Chick-fil-A.
There
Do they
Yeah.
include that somehow? I mean, is that just they're
The volume
losing their own
matters
battle?
there.
What's that, Michael?
Volume matters, right?
Yeah.
Like In-N-Out, I feel like moves pretty quick, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's 50 people in the line. Taco Bell's only got 2 people to get through.
Right.
There's the victim of their own success, right?
But interestingly enough, while it was the slowest drive-through, it did come out that they had the highest in customer satisfaction. So it's kind of like you're waiting the longest, but then you're the most satisfied.
And at the end, what do they say? My pleasure? Is that their line that they always say when you're,
They're
you
like
know,
required
yeah.
to say that, I've heard.
They train them well there.
Yes.
There's no
They
doubt.
do.
You know, there's an In-N-Out here in Phoenix, 20th Street and Camelback,
Yeah.
roughly. That thing,
Nuts.
that line is
Nuts.
crazy. I mean, from the time they open up at
Right.
like 11 in the morning,
Right.
because I live nearby,
Till the
and I'm
time they
passing it
close.
by, and it, you know, I like In-N-Out, but I don't know if I like In-N-Out like half an hour waiting for In-N-Out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, and the way that parking lot is just this kind of
Zigzag,
maze, zigzag, and
It's
trying to get there. I
confusing.
mean, it's the best they can do when they have 100 cars waiting to
yeah.
get a hamburger.
Husky Mom, who is one of our loyal streaming
Husky
viewers,
Mom.
she commented, "Oh my goodness, because it takes how long to stuff a taco?"
And you know they got them sitting there waiting for you. You know,
Oh,
there's just a
yeah.
big band of them,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah.
Wonder what the time frame is on how long a taco can sit there before.
I've had a few that feel a little soggy. You know, you think they might have been afternoon tacos. and
What's
it's in
your
the
go-to
evening.
at Taco Bell? What do you get?
The soft beef taco.
Soft beef taco?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get the combination, the one that I can't remember what number it is. I don't go
Yeah.
that often, but it's got like I think 2 or maybe 3 tacos, and then that Mexican pizza.
Ooh,
that's good.
That-
yum.
To me, maybe the most brilliant human being on earth is the person who put a taco in a Dorito shell.
That one's great.
I mean,
Oh.
Ten seconds.
All right, Isabella's back with us now. We had to take a quick break there.
We
got a little hungry there.
talking about
I know.
Taco
I
Bell.
think we're all
some
hungry.
Taco Bell.
Yeah. Well, switching the topic from Taco Bell, I have a question for you both.
Uh-oh.
Do you guys want to go back to college?
Sign me up. I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah, I actually would like to go back.
Yeah.
Do I get to live like in a frat and do all the frat parties and stuff? Or
If
just
that's
study?
Wait, go back when we were younger or go back now?
Yeah.
Go back now.
Oh, now.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Would you want to be a freshman or like a junior in college if you
Junior.
could go back? Like what year
Well,
of college?
freshman was pretty exciting to be there
Yeah,
as a new
that
kid.
was fun.
I'll admit
Yeah.
that. That's true.
Yeah, I think toward the end I was kind of getting ready to get out
That's
of there.
fair.
You know,
That's
like
fair.
it
That's
was
fair.
fun, but like
Even
you know.
my friend has a couple of boys, and I think if I'm saying this right, like by the time they get to senior, you're like kind of done with
You have senioritis.
You have senioritis. You're ready.
I had
You're done
that.
with that stuff.
And we've worked here with people who have been working full time here, doing what we're doing, and going back to school and getting degrees. Celeste did
True.
that.
Yeah.
Lauren Clark,
Clark,
who just
yeah.
she was getting a law degree.
Nuts.
I'm like, how
Can
do
you
you do
imagine
that?
going home and having to study after
I
this? job?
can't imagine that.
Kill me.
I'm
We're doing
doing
homework
that
because
right now, and
we
it's
work,
hard.
We work late, you know, so
Yeah.
you'd have to do homework before we're coming to work, and you're
Yeah.
doing that right now.
Yeah. It's hard.
Well, stop being an overachiever there.
No, it's okay.
Young lady.
The reason I asked that question, another new study came out, very fun, and it says that 1 in 4 Americans want to go back
Wanna
to
go back to
college.
because they want a new career or they just want to learn things?
A couple different reasons. Most want to change careers
Ah.
or to make more money. So about 22% said it was to earn a new degree. 30% say it's to get a certification related to their current career
Mm-hmm.
field. And then 40% are worried, this goes into what we were just talking about, that their current job will be replaced by AI.
It's a real concern. It is.
What isn't going to be
You know,
taken over by?
I
do we
have
just
not.
do we just think Americans like debt? You know, and
'Cause, yeah, you're gonna-
college is the best way to do that. You
Yeah.
know,
I think when you're in it, though, you know, you're not like, you know, you've got the debt, but you're like, I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you kind of get like, oh, I've got this time to where I'm like, I can do school and not worry about an income, and you know,
Yeah.
I'm getting money to do this, and then down the road you got to pay for it.
Good point. And
But-
I do think as an older, I like to think now that I'm older and wiser that I would actually learn the things instead of just learning enough to pass the test.
But when's the last time you've taken a test?
Oh, I mean, like I got my emissions tested on my car.
Did you pass?
and if you want to learn AI, just go back to the Boy Scouts. That's probably a little cheaper.
Oh,
There you
yeah,
go.
that's
They
a good
allow
point.
Man
That's what
Scouts.
I was
do they have
asking
that?
if they have a badge for us. You
I
know,
don't
we
think
could,
they
like,
want me and Mark showing up there
No.
at our age. What do you
Journalism
guys want?
badge.
but yeah, I would take that. But I haven't studied for a test. I haven't taken a test in so long. I used to be good at it when I was in college. I just don't know how I would do now. Like what your attention span is, what your retention is.
That's good for you. I just felt like I learned enough and held on to it in some part of my brain just to get past the test, and then by the next day, gone.
Yeah.
You know, just where to
Like
go.
you never learned it.
Where to go.
Yeah. Well,
Okay. Good
yeah.
to know. Go
Good
back
to
to
know.
college.
Go back to college and get some Taco Bell.
Thanks.
Yeah, well,
Isabella.
yeah,
You're
it all goes hand in hand.
They
Taco Bell
kinda
in
do.
college,
They
you
kinda
know.
do.
I
Those late-
never
late
had
night
Taco
bites.
Bell until I went to college, and once I was in college, I ate a lot of
It's
it.
addictive. It's addictive.
It helped my
It's-
freshman 15.
And it's pretty affordable still. You
Right,
know.
right. It is. It is. That's a good point. Thanks, Isabella.
Thanks, Isabella.
Guess who's here on deck? Robby Baker, sports.
Just cycling him in and
extraordinaire.
out.
Yeah, look at him walk him in. He makes an entrance, man.
I try.
Was that like the Robby Shuffle?
I don't know what that was.
Pretty cool though.
Crazy knees, I guess. I don't know.
We liked it. We liked it.
Yeah.
What should we talk? College, pro.
Whatever, man. I'll go whatever direction
what
you want
about-
to steer the ship.
Sam Levitt, because I saw Blake was out there taking some pictures today.
Yeah.
So what's his status?
So he practiced yesterday and today. Status for the game still uncertain. The Big 12 injury, well, they're called availability reports technically. So we'll get that tonight at some point. I think like 7 o'clock or so is when that'll get released. That's when they'll have the first designation for Sam. That was last Thursday when he was listed as doubtful, I think it was. That was the first time we had the inclination of, he's injured and he may miss the Utah game. Obviously missed the game, but it's good news that he practiced the last 2 days. Blake said from being out of practice, Blake said he looks like Sam Levitt. Nothing alarming, just on a surface level. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I have no inside information on this. All I know is that ASU's season is it's crazy to say in week 6 it's on the line, but you can't have 2 Big 12 losses and one of those losses being to, if they lose to Texas Tech, those would both be teams they would be chasing in the standings. So this is kind of a must-win situation for ASU on Saturday. It's on Fox 10, nationally televised game in the afternoon. It's a prime slot for this game. A lot of eyes are going to be on this. I would be hard-pressed to believe that Sam Leavitt will – he'll do everything he can to be out there. We just don't know the coaching staff and all the people around him. Obviously, if he can't play and it's not healthy for him to play, he won't. But I would imagine he will be doing everything he can to be on the field.
And Tech is really good, right?
Undefeated. I think they're up to 6th or 7th in the country. I mean, this is by far the best team ASU has played so far this season. It may be the best team they play all year. I mean, the Texas Tech situation is interesting because they spent a lot of money at NIL and stuff in this offseason to basically – it's unfair to say they bought a roster, but the way stuff is nowadays, they spent a lot of money to bring in a lot of big-name transfers. Right. Sometimes it works with schools, sometimes it doesn't. Texas Tech seems to have hit a pot of gold right now with the way that they're rolling right now. So it's going to be an uphill battle. Whether Sam plays or not, it's going to be an uphill battle for ASU on Saturday.
Does that mean if they lose, that would be the second loss?
It'll be their third loss overall because they lost to Mississippi State week 2. That hurts them in their, as a loss, but it's not a conference loss. So really, if you look at it over the course of the season, ASU made it to the Big 12 championship game last year with 2 losses.
Okay.
They were 10-2 overall. They didn't lose a non-conference game. Not to get too far in the weeds, but really ASU can't afford any more than 2 conference losses and still have a good chance to make it. But also, if you lose 2 or more games, not only are you out, but probably out, but then you don't control your own destiny. ASU, you want to be in a position where you win the games you get in. You don't need, because that's what happened last year when they beat U of A. They still needed a couple other dominoes to fall to get to the championship game, and all that stuff ended up happening. And then obviously they go on the run to the Peach Bowl.
And kind of similar situation with the Arizona Cardinals, similar season feel for me. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh, well, the overall feel I think is worse for the Cardinals. The sky is not falling in Tempe by any means. Losing in the manner they did to Utah obviously was not good, and there's a lot of stuff that they need to correct from that game. The Cardinals feel. I was at Cardinals practice today, and it just interesting vibes over there right now. This was the first, usually, Wednesday practice, quarterbacks talk, you get to watch the first 20 minutes or whatever. Today's practice was closed to the media, couldn't watch, and we did not get to hear from a quarterback today. We still don't know if Kyler Murray's going to play or if it's going to be Jacoby Brissett. 4 straight losses for the Cardinals. The only game we thought that was going to be really kind of like a must-win in that stretch because they should have won it was the Titans. The Titans upset the Cardinals, and we've all talked about how that game went sideways. Well, the Titans just fired their coach. That's how bad the Titans season has gone, that they just fired their coach. So that kind of puts that loss in context. So the Cardinals right now, if you lose to the Packers, then you got your bye week, then you got the Cardinals or the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. I mean, they're 2-4 right now. You could easily see this thing either go sideways real quick or they could rally the troops and turn it around real quick. But it very much is hanging in the balance, it feels like.
Is it players-only meeting time for the Cardinals, do you think? Or did they already have it this week? And
I don't know. I know maybe players-only meetings are not as strong as they once were. If you followed at all what's going on in Miami with Tua in the the Dolphins. If you think things are rough for the Cardinals right now, after the Dolphins lost last Sunday, their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, during his media availability, basically admitted we've had players-only meetings and not all the players have showed up. So that's why it's not working. And if that's happening, then you are in a real tough spot.
And they're 0-6, the Dolphins, or something like that?
1-5, I think. But either way, it's like if you're calling, that would be like somebody in the newsroom saying this is a mandatory meeting.
All hands.
All hands, you have to be here or you're fired, and only half the newsroom shows up. Like, that's not good.
And in theory, the player-only meeting is the coach is not here. We're talking the real talk to
We're
each other.
We're going to air our grievances. If you have an issue with somebody, have it out now. Like you said, the coaches aren't around. If you have an issue with the coaching, let's all get it off our chest. And I don't know if the Cardinals have ventured down that route yet, but hopefully they can shock the world in a sense and beat the Packers on Sunday, but we'll see.
You got to think some jobs might be on the line soon if they don't turn it around.
It's tough. This is year 3 of this rebuild with Jonathan Gannon and Imani Asamoah and this whole coaching staff and front office, and this was supposed to be the year entering it. The talk was kind of playoff or bust. They spent a lot of money in free agency, the drafts the last couple of years building to this, and they're on track right now to have one of the worst records under Jonathan Gannon. If this all continues this direction, there's a lot of football still to be played. Right. But nobody thought this team would be in last place in the division at this point. People thought this was the team that should and could contend to win the division. So we'll see. Very interesting times.
And they spent their money on defense, which hasn't really risen to the occasion yet, if I'm right.
Overall, statistically, the defense has been good. They've just been put in some really tough spots because the offense has not really been able to close out and finish games. There's been pretty much every game that they lost on those last-second field goals. The offense had the ball at the end of the game and could have killed the clock, couple first downs, and ended it.
Fair enough.
And they kept giving the ball back to the other team. And so the defense at a certain point has got to be feeling like, we can only do so much here.
And you wonder what some of these long-suffering Cards fans are feeling right now. You know, I was seeing some of the comments after the game with the Titans, but it's been a long haul.
The last week. I don't know if any of you guys watched Sports Night. At the end of my when I was Sunday night and my story on Sports Night, I just laid down on the ground and played James Blunt. I just said, "This is I
Which
can't
song?
The You're Beautiful." And it was kind of a nod to the Michael Scott in The Office when he one of his breakups during that show. He just kept listening to that song on repeat. But like the Mercury getting swept in the finals, ASU losing and the quarterback's hurt, Kyler's hurt and the Cardinals lose. It's just like there's only so much my heart can take.
We need to get you guys a therapy dog for the sports office.
We really do.
Have a golden retriever come in.
It would really raise morale. Yeah,
just walk around.
We need some good. We just need some good vibes. You know?
I thought that's what Blake's job was. He's the golden retriever of sports.
Even poor Blake after that ASU game, Blake was down bad.
I've never seen Blake
after ASU.
If Blake is down, we're in trouble.
We were. I full disclosure, I was because that game kicked off late and it was pushing probably 11 o'clock, and they were still part of the way through the fourth quarter to be played. And I told Blake, I'll listen to it on the radio. Like
that's past
I still have
Blake's bedtime anyway.
Well, he stays up late. But I said I'm just going to listen to it on the radio while I drive home because I want to go home and go to bed. And Blake was like, I'm committed. I'm going to watch the whole fourth quarter before I go home. And I was like, Blake, you're a brave soul, my friend.
We got to get Richard to get you guys in the RV and go out and get some ice cream or something. You know,
or maybe a scotch. I don't know. Dealer's choice.
It's been a weekend.
Yeah.
But hey, that just means the next weekend there's always the possibility it can get better because hopefully it can't get worse.
There we go, Robby.